Hey everyone, MeltingMan234 here, and welcome to another episode of Forgotten Media, where I dig up some stuff you may or may not have heard of. And welcome to another installment of Mixed Batch. This is where I take several medias that seem too short for one episode, and decide to squeeze them all into one. So let's get started. First topic on the list is a cancelled Pixar film called Noot. Not only did I know about this film back when it was announced, but I've had several people question me to do it, and since there's not much to talk about, here it is. Noot was going to be Gary Wrightstorm's directing debut for this film. It was scheduled to be released for 2011, then pushed to 2012, and then later ended up being cancelled. The story would have involved two blue-footed newts, one being male and the other being female, being the only surviving species of their kind. In order to survive from extinction, they must mate. They don't see eye to eye with each other, and it'll take more than science for them to get along. People have theorized that the film was cancelled was because it was too similar to the film Rio, for having a similar plot about two characters of the same species and such. The main reason why it was cancelled was that the project was given to director Pete Docter, who had worked on other Pixar films in the past. He felt that the film wasn't going to work and pitched him an idea that would be better, and that idea would later evolve into Inside Out. As for Noot, there's only a handful of concept art and designs of characters and backgrounds, and no actual film footage. But that didn't stop Pixar having the film make cameo appearances in other Pixar films like Toy Story 3 and Brave. So there you have it, Noot, the Pixar film that never was. When I was browsing around the Sonic Wiki website looking for pics for a certain meme to piece together on DeviantArt, I stumbled across this article talking about how Burger King had plans in making toys for the Burger King Kids Club based off of Sonic Adventure, obviously advertising the game's release or something. As far as I know, nobody knows why these toys were cancelled, and the only thing that has survived are some concept art for 10 different toys that were discovered in a warehouse before being sold on eBay. The list includes Rip-Roaring Robotnik, a spinning toy of Robotnik that is designed to knock over a cutout of Sonic. Somersaultin' Snowboardin' Sonic, obviously a toy based off of the snowboarding segment from the Ice Cap level. Go Gamma Go, a movable figure of Gamma with a light-up bulb on his scope. Knuckles Goes for a Spin, one of those spinning toys that shows Knuckles chasing after Robotnik. Twistin' Twirlin' Tails, a rolling toy with his spinning tails in action. Frog Catchin' Cat, another light-up toy that features Big the Cat and Froggy. Noisy Amy, I have no idea what it's supposed to do. Super Sonic Sled, a moving sparkling toy that at first I thought it was Sonic behind a cannon. But now that I've looked at it closely, I think it's supposed to represent Sonic riding the rocket from the Speed Highway level. Turbo Prop Tails, another rolling toy that features Tails piloting the Tornado 2. And finally, Walk'em Sock'em Knuckles, a toy that walks on its own from the motorizing wheels, or in this case, arms. I still find it hilarious on how this toy was designed. Now Knuckles has 6 arms, so that makes him a spider echidna hybrid thing. So there you have it. For a collection of toys that were designed for a fast food chain, it's a shame that they were never made. It's time to talk about my favorite forgotten SEGA character once again, known as Vector Man. Because it's frickin' Vector Man! Now I already covered the games, as well as that cancelled Vector Man game. You know, the one that was going to have a third-person gameplay, drastically redesigning Vector Man, and in the end it looked like they were trying to rip off Halo. Well, it turns out that there was another cancelled Vector Man game called Vector Man 3 Ultra that was planned to be released for the Sega Saturn. Aside from the name, the small handful of concept art shows that the game was going to be a proper sequel to the Vector Man games. And that's about it. I guess the game was cancelled was because of the Sega Saturn console, which was a flop and was very short-lived. Now if they made that game for the Dreamcast, then it could have seen the light of day. It is sad that this character never got another game, let alone not being featured in any of the Sega All-Star games. I mean, come on, it's freaking Vector Man! Man? Well, it looks like I've got time to do one more topic for this episode, so let's talk about YouTube group accounts. Yeah, remember when those group accounts used to be a thing here? This was an option on YouTube way back in the olden days, when we had 5-star ratings, and channels with more creative backgrounds. Basically, it's a group that had members as well as featuring videos from other users. They're kind of similar to those group accounts on DeviantArt, They've had their fair share of themes, from supporting characters or franchises like the Five Nights at Freddy's fan club, or clubs that were just pointless, just like the Save Archie Sonic group. I was once part of a YouTube group called the Mario Tape Plumber Wars, or something like that. Yeah, that was back when I used to make rants and commentary videos before I retired from doing that. I can't remember how long it lasted, but it feels like it didn't last long. It still annoys me that they haven't explained why they got rid of that feature, but I guess they just weren't that popular. The funny thing about it is that you can still find tutorial videos on YouTube that tell you how to create a group account, even though you can't do that anymore. I'm not sure if they brought it back as something else, but I just felt like delving into a bit of unknown history from YouTube's past. Well, that wraps up this episode of Forgotten Media, so this is Melting Man 234 signing out. Everyone, Melting Man 234 here, and welcome to another Forgotten Media. Wait, I screwed it up.